looks like these two kind of standing off from each other because there's a doe. This is kind of an unusual problem. The season doesn't start till tomorrow. I'm just scouting. I've got a buck walking at me less than 200 yards. I'm trying not to spook it. Ridiculous. 60 yards right now. You can smell me, but it doesn't know where I'm at. Fucking crazy. Frustrations of hunting on public land. Some of the time I think you have a bigger challenge getting away from people than you do actually getting deer. That dude's sitting right where I saw those deer last night. It's 8 o'clock, the road warriors are out, and people are starting to leave their spots that have been sitting since the sun came up. I think that's a miscalculation. I'm going to stay put. There's been a cold front that's come through, and yesterday and today it's supposed to be about 10 to 15 degrees cooler than normal, so I think the deer are going to stay out a little bit later until about noon. As you can see, the sun's come out. It's about midday, so it's starting to get a little bit warm, so I think that that plan didn't really pan out. Maybe those other dudes had the right idea. Okay, the deer is about right where it was yesterday. I'm gonna see if I can get over there fast. Got over here. The deer is right on the other side of that bush, right here. I can have the focus on the other side of that bush, but there's a hunter right here. Already sitting in that spot. I walked the 500 yards back to my original spot, sat there, and I watched that deer for the rest of the night till the sun went down. And the worst part was, the other hunter never even saw the deer. It was less than 200 yards away from him, but because of a small little ridge, he couldn't see it, and the deer was in his dead space. So the deer got away that night. All right, so here's the plan. I'm gonna go from the valley down here and go all the way up. Let's see, follow that ridge line all the way up to the flat part right there. That's my goal, is to get up on that plateau, and that's where I think I'm gonna find some deer.
man, with the wind, it's blowing all the rain right into this like little lean-to I have, but I am still staying dry for the most part, so I don't know, it's not supposed to last more than like an hour or two, I don't think. So I'm gonna try and stick it out. We'll see. I have about 1.25 mile back to the car if things get worse.
This was by far the most frustrating hunt that I've ever had. One, I was much more mobile this year than I was last year, so I expected that to work to my advantage compared to last year, and I thought I was going to be able to get out and get away from people a lot more. But it turned out the area was just so saturated with people that wasn't really the case. I still had people in my area, no matter how far I hiked. And then when I finally did get out of range from some of the hunters, I ended up having weather issues. Then on top of all of that, I ended up getting cysts on my stump the very next day after I came out of the field, and those were extremely painful. I'll throw some pictures up, but essentially they were quarter-sized cysts that were just formed from having pressure points where my socket was pushing against different pressure points on my stump. Turns out all I needed was a better fitting socket, so I had to go back to my prosthetist, have them remake the sockets, and kind of work with them to get those pressure points relieved. I also had to see my doctor and get some medications and things like that, but ultimately it was the pressure points from the sockets that created that issue. And the whole entire weekend and a week or two prior to that, I had been walking around just kind of sucking up the pain. Turns out that wasn't a good thing. And the worst part was it put me behind for the next couple hunts I had coming up with my wife and then my archery hunt. I hope you guys enjoy the video. I realize I have yet to kill a deer. Hopefully my number will come soon. I appreciate you watching.